The Lazy Peon.
What's up guys, and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. Today we're going to be counting my top 15 flying mounts currently available in game. Last week we covered my top 15 ground mounts, and if you haven't seen it already, there should be a link on screen for it now. For more information regarding the mounts in this video, please check the description as I'll be putting the links there. So, starting off at number 15, we have the Grand Armoured Griffon. And this can be obtained for 2,000 gold once you've achieved Exalted Reputation with Operation Shield Wall in the Karasang Wilds. I like this mount because I liked the original Griffon mounts, however the models were starting to look dated in comparison to the newer mounts, so I'm glad they added the Grand Armoured Griffon with its updated model and reskin that still stays true to the originals. Next up at number 14 we have Mimron's Head, and this drops from Yogg-Saron on 25 player mode with a 1.7% drop rate. I like this mount because it's unique, it looks kinda weird, and it's a lot of fun. Sometimes it's nice to ride around in something that isn't all about killing and looking like a scary bastard. Sometimes you just need to take a cruise in Mimron's Head. Now for a comment by Master the Will on Reddit. Hilarious mount, very unique, can be used to take screenshots in front of statues for comedic purposes. Moving on to number 13, we have the Clutch of G-Kun, and this can be obtained from the boss G-Kun inside Throne of Thunder at a 1 to 5% drop rate with higher drop rates for harder difficulties. I like this mount because it's an armoured phoenix. I like the flight animation and it has a nice colour combination, therefore it deserves number 13. At number 12 we have the Netherwing Drakes, and these can be obtained by getting to Exalted Reputation with the Netherwing and a cost of 200 gold per colour. And I like these mounts because they're simplistic yet interesting with their colours and particle effects. I also like the shape of their heads. Now for a viewer comment by Ghost of Enlil on Reddit. Netherwing Drakes, everyone's favourite rep to grind. No other mount looks like them and they have awesome colours and particle effects. Of all the mounts released in Burning Crusade, this is one of the most iconic. Coming in at number 11 we have the Sky Golem, and this can be made by an engineer with 500 engineering or bought off the auction house for around 15,000 gold. This mount's actually pretty common due to how cheap it is to buy and how cool it looks. I like the idea of flying around in a giant mechanical robot, and this is a mount I actually use a lot on live servers. Now for a viewer comment by Tina Remmer on Reddit. Easily the Sky Golem, mini Gundam with great visuals, unique flying, walking and swimming animations, and you can gather herbs in it. Next up at number 10 we have the Armoured Skyscreamer, and this can be obtained by completing the Glory of the Thundering Raider achievement. And I like this mount because it looks like one ferocious motherfucker with teeth that could tear you apart. I like how it looks like a prehistoric pterodactyl too. The model's unique and there's some nice looking spikes in there. And spikes make me happy. Moving on to number 9 we have the Stone Drakes, and I couldn't decide what colour I like the most, so they all get the number 9 spot. These mounts are obtained via the following. The Sandstone Drake can be made by an alchemist with 525 alchemy or through buying a vial of the sands off the auction house. This will actually turn you into a dragon where your party members can jump on your back and you can take him for a ride. The Volcanic Stone Drake can be obtained by getting the Glory of the Cataclysmic Hero achievement. The Virtuous Stone Drake can be farmed from the boss Slabhide in the Stone Court with a 1% drop rate, and the Phosphorescent Stone Drake can be found wandering around Deepholm with an estimated spawn time of 22 to 30 hours, making it a very sought after mount due to its rarity. I like the 4 Stone Drakes because they have nice colour combinations, they achieve the Stone Dragon theme well, and they have gem spikes coming out of them. Overall, awesome mounts. At number 8 we have the Spawn of Galacrass, and this is a reward for completing the achievement Glory of the Orgrimmar Raider. I like this mount because it looks identical to the Siege of Orgrimmar boss Galacrass, and I love it when bosses drop a mount version of themselves. Aside from that, it's got some nice armour, I like the stripes on its body, I like the bone spikes on its tail, and for me this is easily the best looking proto-drake in the game, and Blackout Comics from Reddit seems to agree with me. Coming in at number 7 we have the Drakes of the Winds. Now there's 4 versions of this mount with different colours, the North, South, East and West Drakes of the Wind, and these can be obtained via the following. The Drake of the West Wind requires you to be exalted with Tol Barad, the Drake of the South Wind is a rare drop from Alakir, the Drake of the North Wind is a rare drop from Alterius in the Vortex Pinnacle, the Drake of the East Wind is a reward from getting the Glory of the Cataclysmic Raider achievement. And I like these mounts for a few reasons. I like how they each have a thundering effect that blends well into the model. I also like the spikes that can be seen throughout the mount's body. I think the dragon has a cool head and I like the armour and material that hangs beneath its neck. Overall, I think these are really nice mounts with great colour combinations. Next up at number 6 we have the Bloodbath and Icebound Frostbrood Vanquishers, and these are obtained by getting either the 10 or 25 player Glory of the Ice Crowned Raider achievements, and holy shit, doesn't this thing look badass. It's a fucking undead skeleton dragon with armour. I remember back when I first saw the Wrath of the Lich King cinematic where Arthas rezzed Syndragosa, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, wouldn't it be awesome if we could ride that thing? Well, unfortunately we can't get Syndragosa as a flying mount, but the Frostbrood Vanquishers look pretty similar, and for that reason, they get number 6. Moving on to number 5, we have the Heavenly and Thundering Cloud Serpents, and I decided just to include them all in number 5 because the Heavenly and Thundering Serpents look pretty similar to each other, and to be honest, I couldn't really decide which ones I liked the most. But these mounts look really nice. There's a decent amount of choice in terms of colour, and the flight animation's really unique. They also do a great job in suiting the Pandaren theme, and overall I just think these mounts are pretty cool and worthy of number 5. At number 4 we have the Pureblood Firehook, and this drops from Ragnaros and the Firelands on heroic and normal mode difficulties at a 1% drop rate. And I like this mount because of the flaming theme, the huge wingspan, the spike plated armour, and it makes me question how my character can sit on that thing without burning their ass off. So for looking badass, having a nice colour scheme and model, this mount deserves number 4. Coming in at number 3 we have the Ashes of Alar, and this drops from Kael'thas Sunstrider and Tempest Keep with a 2% drop rate. This mount's been hugely popular with the player base ever since it was added to the game in the Burning Crusade, and due to all the particle effects it still looks really nice today despite being an old model. Alternatively, if you're not lucky enough to have gotten the Ashes of Alar to drop, you could buy the Dark Phoenix that's still available to buy from guild vendors for 3,000 gold, once your guild's got the Glory of the Cataclysmic Raider achievement. Now for a comment by Blackout Comics on Reddit. Ashes of Alar, rarity coupled with cool vapor trails, low res model hidden by bloom lighting so it's unnoticeable and thus won't become worse with time. And I think this comment sums up why Ashes of Alar gets number 3. At number 2 we have the Livebinders Handmaiden, and this drops from Madness of Deathwing Heroic in Dragon Soul with a 1% drop rate. Alternative recolours of this mount include the Blazing Drake and the Twilight Harbinger, but I love the Livebinders Handmaiden because it kinda looks like you're riding Alexstrasza in dragon form. I think the huge horns along with the gold chains really make this mount look nice, and I know many people won't agree with me for putting this at number 2, but I have weird taste and I just like the whole look and feel of this mount. Now for a comment by Trooper Dave on Reddit. I love my Livebinders Handmaiden. She has a very cool look and it makes me feel like a real hero of Azeroth. Alexstrasza herself decided I deserved one of her handmaidens to ride into battle on. And this comment pretty much sums up why I like this mount. And finally, my favourite fly mount in World of Warcraft so far, at number 1 we have Invincible, and this drops from the Lich King on 25-man Heroic in Icecrown Citadel with a 2% drop rate, and this mount has a really interesting backstory. Arthas witnessed the birth of this horse at the age of 9 in Lordaeron stables and quickly became attached to it, later claiming it as his own. Later, at the age of 17, he was riding through the woods during the winter. He tried to jump over a hill, but in midair he saw a slippery path leading to ice protruding from the ground. The horse landed first, and the ice pierced through him. Arthas knew he wouldn't survive in time to be taken back to the stables, so he pulled out his sword and stabbed Invincible through the heart to stop his suffering. He then brought the horse's corpse to a spot near the stables and buried him. Years later he came back as the Lich King and used Frostmourne to resurrect Invincible as the undead masterpiece we have today. I don't just like this mount for the backstory though, I also think it looks awesome with the undead themed armour and unique model. It really feels like it belongs with the Lich King and I think it's a worthy number 1.
Hey, Mr. Laser Peon! I think there's a few mounts you forgot to mention in this video!
Yeah, what about the Fell Drake and the Magic Broom?
But there's a fuck ton of cool mounts in this game, I can't mention all of them.
That's fine, just tell us a few mounts that were close to making this list.
Okay, well here's 5 honourable mentions that almost made the list, but they didn't. The Onyxian Drake, and this can be obtained from killing Onyxia on either 10 or 25 player difficulty. This Drake's basically a miniature flying mount version of Onyxia, and I like this mount because Onyxia was one of the first raids I ever saw in WoW, so going back to kill her when farming this mount gives me much nostalgia. The Headless Horseman's mount, and this is contained in a loot-filled pumpkin with a 0.5% drop chance during the Hallow's End seasonal boss, the Headless Horseman. This mount's pretty cool. I didn't realise it was a flying mount because it doesn't have any wings, but when I got into the WoD beta and tried it, it just rides through the air, which is awesome and surprised me a lot. the turbocharged flying machine, and this can be made by engineers with an engineering skill of 375 or bought off the auction house for around 5,000 gold. I think it's an awesome mount. I like the paintwork on it, the flight animation's pretty cool, and it only just missed being included in the top 15. The Flame Ward Hippogriff, and this is a reward for getting the achievement Veteran of the Molten Front, which is a daily quest chain added back in patch 4.2. I think this is the best of all the Hippogriff mounts for one simple reason: flames. The flaming wings, tail and feet along with the colour combination of the mount go really well together. Now for our final viewer comment by Mekoman on Reddit. I love my Flame Ward Hippogriff because flames and stuff, and the colours are pretty cool together, and you can only get it through the achievement from Firelands. The Depleted Caparian Rocket, and this can be made with 600 engineering or purchased for around 80,000 gold from the auction house. And just look at it, it's a fucking rocket with a machine gun and a skull painted on the front. If you look to the back, it's packed full of grenades and dynamite. This thing looks like a death trap, and should only be purchased by players intent on looking like one crazy motherfucker. So that's it for this list, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know in the comments, give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more variety World of Warcraft content, including machinima, guides, discussion and countdowns. Okay, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.
Oh dang it, open up already. I need to take a shit. Why don't you just go use the cave? I've been using the goddamn cave for 7 days now. I can't take it anymore.